Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to Talking Town Extra Time. I am your host, the Gov. I pressed the wrong button, would you believe? I didn't expect to see you for another at least 30 seconds, but hey, we're here. Let's crack into the show. Live chat is active as always. Welcome. If you've not yet, been here before, what it is, we talk football. There's a live chat, live link. We talk all manner of Ipswich Town things. We have a great time, or we try and have a great time. Anyway, so we've got Mike D in the chat. We've got AD Croucher. Bearing in mind, Town had been sending out away games. Was anybody else surprised, as I was, that only just over 1,000 Town fans went to Bolton? That's a good question. I'll put that to the guys when they come in. Mr. Stannard is here. We've got Jay, Upper Town, exactly. Neil Perks. Yes, that's what I read in regards to a question. We've got James. Good evening. James, Gov, still allowed in the lounge? Yes, I am, Mike D. Although it is probably the last time. It is. I'm repeatedly getting told when we're moving you. So I'm going to enjoy this one. It is the last time, I'm afraid. So before we get any further, of course, welcome our TT Stand, Fifth Stand Ultras. Our TT Fifth Stand Ultras, to give its proper name. These are the guys and girls who support us through Ko-Fi. They have set up a monthly contribution. You can do the same just by heading to Ko-Fi and following the procedure through. Whatever you can give is absolutely, I'm actually grateful for. Anything from £1, £5, £10, whatever your budget allows. Or you can do it, of course, through our new method if you don't want to click the link to Ko-Fi, which is now in the chat. Or you could go through and be a YouTube member. There are 2 memberships available on YouTube. Exactly the same as Ko-Fi. So if you are a Ko-Fi member, you don't have to do it again, unless you want to, of course. I'm not going to say no. Who in their right mind would? But if you do want to support us, you certainly can. Mike D, is Ko-Fi different to YouTube Ultra? Not really. I'm still working through the perks. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. We're still getting through those kinks, but we hope to find a resolution soon. Hux, hope there are no... Oh, right. Yeah. Yes, I hope. Me too. Although they're absolutely welcome to. Duncan, the tunnel of the Miri Kindi, cool with the music, thinking of your family. Yes, hello Duncan, I hope you are well too. Also, we have our prediction league. No, we don't. That's last week's prediction league. Fuck, it's going well, isn't it? I'm going to level with you. I've been at the hospital all evening. It's been an absolute piss take of an evening, but there we go. No, yes, we are playing Accurate and Stanley this weekend. Yes, we are. Ipswich versus Accurate and Stanley, Salford versus Colchester, Watford versus Norwich, which is a Friday night. Beware, it is a Friday night, so do not wait to get your predictions in, my friends, because it's a Friday night, and the last fixture is Cambridge versus Crewe. Right. Let's get somebody else in this chat with me before I start drowning, because, as I say, up the hospital, so I've got no preparation or very little preparation. So sorry for the clunky 3 minutes and 40 seconds you've just had to sit through. But let's get somebody else in to help me. He is an absolute hero, responsible for all that you see on the screen, Mr. Designer, George Nunn. Quite possibly the worst intro to a show I've ever done, I think. But welcome, George. How are you? We can't hear you, George. You're on mute. You want to put the beard down, George. Put the microphone on. There he is.
I don't know why I put it on mute. Hello. Happy New Year. I'm all right.
When is it acceptable to stop saying Happy New Year, do you think? Honestly, because it's 17th of January.
Well, I'm saying it to everyone who I haven't already said it to.
So if you see somebody in September, do you say Happy Old Year? Do you say Happy New Year? It must be an acceptable sort of moment where we transition.
That's a fair question. I'm going to go with 18th of January.
I like it. How are things in your world, Mr. Nunn?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yeah, just ticking over. You know?
Just ticking over.
Yeah, it's January. That's what we do in January, isn't it?
Well, it is. Some do dry January, but I believe you're doing what they call wet January. Do tell the people at home what it is that's fueling Mr. George Nunn this evening.
This is Camden Hell's Lager, and moderately decent it is too.
Beautiful stuff, Duncan. MRI Hospital Gov or have I gone haywire? Yes, it was an MRI. I had a wonderful array of 80s hits, George. Piping through my absolutely. I had Say It Loud, Say It Clear. Not heard that in a long while. Then we had
I'd have to hear it tonight. I'm terrible with song titles. I'm decent with music.
Say It Loud.
Okay, fine.
Say It Clear.
Yep.
And we had Jennifer, Alison, Philippa Sue.
Yep. Beautiful South. Yep.
Tune. And what was the last one? I can't remember the last. Oh, was it? No, I can't remember the last one. It's gone. She pulled me out really at that point to inject some stuff into my arm, so it kind of got wasted. But it was good tunage, no Ed Sheeran in sight. Sadly,
I can take some Beautiful South. Yeah,
absolutely, you can. We've got Kevin Gates. Hi all. Looking forward to Saturday having a few drinks to remember my granddad. Absolutely, Kevin. Mike the Mechanic says Mark Tuxford. Matt Stannard, not too bad. Looking forward to football Portland Road. Seems like ages. Yes, it does seem like ages since we were at Portland Road, doesn't it, George?
It does.
You were there, I think, the last time we were at Portland Road.
I probably was, and I was supposed to be there for Lincoln, but obviously wasn't. But it does feel like a while. I mean, it usually feels like a long time since I've been to Portland Road, but at the moment it does. Even for me, having been a few times over the last month or so, it's been fun.
Might be good choice, George. Lover Hills. I can't say I've ever had one. I have to be honest. I'll have to get it in the arsenal.
It's an acceptable argument.
Yeah, Harry Butcher. There can be no more excuses for next season. We have to be around the top 2. If not, then it's not acceptable in my opinion. It will be our 4th season in this. Are we already at that point, George? Do you feel where we're talking about this season as if it's a foregone right-off conclusion?
Well, I mean, no, it's not. But it's every time we lose a game, it's getting perilously close. Because we have to win, and we have to win every other game and draw the other one. So every time we lose, we've got to effectively win the next 2.
It is.
So,
although, that's true. It's very true. I'm just thinking because the next guy I'm bringing in thought the season was over in September. I think he said that's it. Season's over. So I mean, I don't know what he's doing, to be honest with you, because surely you'd pack it in by this point. But he is here on the show this evening to share and bring his delightful insights. He is, of course, the man, the absolute myth, the total legend that is Mr. Milktray Man. Your season was over many moons ago, Ben. Many moons ago.
Still is.
So long ago, George. Mike Brown had hair, would you believe? Ben, welcome. It's been a while. How are you?
I'm very good, man. How are you doing?
We're very well. Very well.
Good.
Ropey start, but we're going to pick it up, put it back on track now.
But we're here.
Yeah. That was probably the worst 3 minutes and 10 seconds I've ever delivered in my life. Although
I'm sure it isn't.
You've met my wife. Lovely. I'm glad you've said that. The way we played against Bolton was unacceptable, says Jay. And we've got we won't be Aki, otherwise season is 100% over. Is it over? Obviously, George was saying there we can't look forward to lose too many more, which is true. But you said after while Cook was in charge, it was over. Are you still subscribing to that belief? Is it now about seeing what we've got?
Me,
Ben. Ben.
Me. Okay. I think so. I can't. The run of form we have to go on to get in the playoffs and actually stay there, because once you actually pass that line of the 6th place team, then have to maintain it. It has to be top 2 winning promotion team form from now till the last game of the season to do it. I want to see us there more than anything. It'd be wonderful, but I can't realistically see it. although I'm really pleased with the new manager appointment, and I'm really pleased we won those 2 games. And I think maybe Bolton. I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the game. I don't want to be that, the caller that phones up Radio Suffolk saying, "Well, I wasn't there at the game today, and I haven't seen them since 1994." But I've seen enough to know, I think, what happened, and we're a bit flat. I think the supporters felt it as well. It just wasn't our day. But I do believe that we learn more from defeat than in victory. And for McKenna, that's his first defeat as a professional manager. So hopefully he's learned a lot from that game. And we take it forward and we just keep going for as long as we possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I wouldn't put my mortgage on it. I would not put my mortgage on promotion.
Sarah says loads of people waiting in the wrong chat. Joe, this is one of those technical glitches that I can't do anything about. They set up 2 streams. They did this previously in another show, and I was hoping the other stream would disappear once this stream went live. Sadly not. So Sarah, welcome. I'm glad you made it across to the right one, but apologies on the technical issues. Max said something interesting, George, which I think we will pick up on. We had the conversation ourselves on a WhatsApp group Saturday. Win all our home games, draw away, then we'll be fine. Almost describing a little bit to the mythology that, away games are different. I don't know how best to describe it. Can you take over for me there?
Slightly loaded question. Yeah, so we were having a conversation on Saturday, and you said just before we went 1-0 down, about 10 seconds before we went 1-0 down.
He does that.
So,
I just pressed send, to be fair.
You said this is a good away performance, and I posited that I don't believe in such guff, because look, it's either a good football performance or it's not a good football performance for me. I don't give a damn whether we're at home or away. I get 12th man and all that nonsense, and I get that it can be difficult. But if you're not prepared for that, then it's something that you've missed. If you go into an away game thinking a draw is good enough, you've already lost. They're just things that I subscribe to.
True words.
I wouldn't go. It's the same. So it might be a slightly different size pitch, but it's the same rules. It's the same players against the same players playing the same rules, the same manager. Fine. If Bolton play a different style of football when they're at home, then plan for that. But don't go away from home and play a different brand of football just because you're not playing on Portman Road's pitch. Makes no sense to me. So that's all I meant by that.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that at the after a game, you can't think to yourself, I'll take a point away from that. But I don't want to go into a game. If you go into a game saying, lads, a point is okay from this, we'll be fine because we're just going to win all of our home games. No, it's not. It's not how I would lead a team. But I'm not a football coach, so who knows?
Let's peel away at that really interesting onion. Ben, fans. Max says it's not nonsense, and he then goes on to say home fans make a massive difference. Now, George, I think it's fair to say if you don't truly believe into that.
I think no. I think a 70,000 crowd can make a big difference to a team if they're not prepared for it and they can't blot it out. But they're just people making noise. They're just people making noise.
Okay.
If that impacts the way you do your job,
people making noise, Ben,
and do something to change it. If those 70,000 people all came on the pitch and kicked their ankles, fine. But it's just noise.
Expectation, though, Ben. Surely, as a home team, so if even Bolton sitting 5th from bottom, the expectation from the home crowd is that at some point you will have the run of the game for 20 minutes. You will be the oncoming storm.
If that was the case, then we would have won more home games.
But surely at home, you still expect Town to have.
What did we get out of our good away performance on Saturday?
Absolutely nothing, because we didn't weather the storm when they had it. We conceded the goal, and then we lost our head.
I'm not saying the plan was, but that's because that under that theory, we were just hoping that at some point we would hit them for a goal and that would be enough and we could sit back on it. Why would you approach a game like that after the way that we played at Gillingham?
Ben?
I think some of it's a newness of everything. I think because if the home crowd truly dictated the game, by all accounts, the Bolton home crowd were absolutely rubbish. I saw a half-empty stadium.
Exactly.
And they only made the noise when they won. So if that, they certainly didn't, it wasn't the passion and noise of the Bolton fans that made them win 2-0. It was admittedly a mistake by Edmondson, and it was a mistake. And for me, he's been one of my top players of the year so far. But maybe we need to be a bit more kind of philosophical about it, in which that, you know, we're not going to win them all. And unfortunately, we're at the stage of the season where we actually have to. So those things don't really meld very well. I think we just run out of time, just about this year, run out of time. But I think it's too soon to see what this team's going to be under McKenna. And a really encouraging start, you know. I mean, you know, Paul Cook took about 4 seasons to win his first match in charge of Ipswich. So really encouraging start, and I really like him. But for me, the Saturday's game is going to be fascinating because I want to see what he does in the face of that defeat. And we are going to have a bumper crowd. We'll have 20,000 people there. You know, by the proxy of home games, we there's no question we'll win it, but we all know that it's a bit more complicated than that. I want to see us dictating a system, pressing a team like we have done, or really pressing a team, what Bolton done to us for 20 minutes. So Saturday will be really, really interesting as to how we react to Tuesday. I'm excited for it.
Just to be clear, though, Gov, can I say that I know what I'm saying about the away performance and stuff. That isn't how I felt Saturday went.
But I was going to come back to you.
I didn't think that we were. I didn't necessarily agree with the initial comment about it being the way that we play away from home. I don't think that was really how it was. To me, it looked like a team that was being haunted by ghosts of a 5-2 defeat earlier in the season. They looked nervous, and it felt to me like they just reverted back to how they were conditioned to play.
They changed the formation because we've been playing with 2 up front. It's been a real. I mean, that was a McGreal change. It's actually been kind of maintained by McKenna. So did we? What was the formation up front? Was it 1 up front and 2 supporting, or 2 up front?
We started with the same way we finished Gillingham, and then we adapted it. And there was commentary of McKenna looking at the tablet through the game, which I don't think you'll probably get back on the highlights, etc. But I truly subscribed to the methodology that a game away from home is a much difficult task than it is at home. The fans play their part. The dressing room. I mean, Ben, obviously, you know, your profession. You know, the littlest of things can alter the mindset. And with you're talking about the top 1% of people in the country that are football players, pro football players, and you go to a dressing room which is, you know, the size of my living room with garishly pink, green, whatever walls that have been designed to mentally confine you.
I don't ascribe to that at all. So from that side of things, if you are mentally prepared for something and well prepared and well drilled, then it actually shouldn't matter what environment you need to practice, whatever you need to do. That the whole idea of, you know, becoming successful means you can take it anywhere. If it would have made a difference this season playing at home, we'd be 4th. We've had the biggest crowd of the entire league this season quite consistently, apart from probably Sunderland. And we're 10th, 11th, 9th, I don't know what we are. That would have actually made us win more games than we have, but we haven't. So it's not the crowd. Now, I think it's too soon to really speculate because a lot of this has been with Paul Cook's side, with a rigid system, very strange things going on behind the scenes, all sorts of things, very cryptic messages by ex-players about the actual, what the working day was actually like. So you have to ascribe some of it to that. So I think this is why I'm so interested in Saturday, because, you know, we're going to find out the answers to these questions, but it's just too early to know with McKenna. You can only go with your gut so far, and the gut says I think he'll get it right. With a couple of correct additions in key areas. Although, look, I mean, I'm reading a report now that says we've signed Bolton on a 3-year deal for £150,000.
Where is that report from? Because I've seen nothing from the club. I was just literally looking.
Yeah, it's not from the club. It's from Vital Football.
Until the club tweet it, you know. But we'll get to Bolton in just a second.
Yeah.
You can read that report out to us, and then we'll dive into it. Before I do, I want to read a very important message out from the Durrants. Evening, Gov. Please give a shout out to my son, Josh, 13, who is upstairs locked away with the dreaded COVID again. He had it back in October and has it again. Hopefully, he'll be out in time for Saturday. Josh!
You'll be right, Josh.
You'll be fine. Kick that COVID! You can do it.
Kick it again. Man. You've done this. You know what to do. You know what to do. You don't need us.
Give it the old Eric Cantona. If you're too young to know what that is, YouTube Eric Cantona Kung Fu kick and do that to the COVID. There you go.
Good on you, Josh.
Absolutely. Safety guy 20. So if Dad hears a bang upstairs, it's probably just Josh kicking the living crap out of COVID. Safety guy. We all thought we were going to beat Bolton. Look what happened there. I know. The chat on the pre-game show was all full of 3-0, 4-0. Felix came on the pre-game show, would you believe, guys, and said, I'm so confident of today's win. It can't go wrong. And I was getting AFC Wimbledon, Northampton, Charlton flashbacks. Honestly, when a chat all goes well, I was saying to him, please, somebody say we're going to lose.
Yeah, balance it.
You got to balance. The universe decides to stick its middle finger up at you. The wing backs were penned in and they struggled. I thought Everett set up Bolton well because Bolton were a 4-2-3-1 all season long, but they changed for us on Saturday, which is why I think McKenna was on that iPad either playing Angry Birds or looking at the tactical board to see what he can switch. He may have been playing this silly word game going around, which the name escapes me at the moment. Wiggle? Muggle?
Pass.
No, everyone's seeing these little green and yellow boxes, and I don't know. Who's got time for games? Duncan says the guy with the football manager wide open on my screen. Duncan Ferro. It's research, Ben. Research.
Yeah. So it's Call of Duty, but it doesn't fly with my wife.
Research for what? I'm not going to ask. We had to take it to them on Saturday, 12th man, 100%. It's a special day for those people who have lost loved ones. Is it a memorial game then, Duncan, Saturday? Are they having it as a... So I know they did one last year, didn't they? Where they had a game dedicated to those that have lost.
Yeah, they did announce it a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it might be this week, yeah.
Okay.
Owen Griffiths. £2.50 in the chat.
Good man, Owen. That will help towards my... Owen Griffiths, 6 points from 3 minimum.
It's transfer budget for Football Manager.
Absolutely. Shout out to you, guys, bringing everyone together during the pandemic, giving us all a platform to voice our opinion on our great football club. Thank you. Wordle. That's the fella. Thank you, Chris.
Wordle.
Thank you, Mike. Wordle. Right. Let's have a butchers to Christian Walton. So, Ben, what does that report say? Talk us through.
So this is Vital Football, and they've got the last couple right. Actually, I've just heard the news via a very reliable source. So make of that what you will. But Christian Walton has put pen to paper on a 3-year deal. The 6'6" keeper is said to be delighted that his transfer from Brighton is now finally over the line. He will take a sizable cut in salary because he understood that Ipswich could not possibly afford to pay him the wages he accrued in the Premier League, but still remain the best paid player on the Suffolk club's books. He was eager for a permanent move. The Blues might announce the signing later tonight, but as Walton is not in town because he's back with them now, isn't he?
He's in Brighton, yeah.
We may have to wait till tomorrow to hear it officially. The Blues had to fork out £150,000 for the Seagulls for a signature, but this is a small price to pay for a player who at 26 has the potential to improve further. So what was lacking in, it seems like lacking in the transfer budget, we actually made him, he's probably on, 8, 9, 10 grand a week. And I'm really happy if until the club come out, if that is the done deal that it looks like, really happy with that. That's a masterclass. And I think he's been really, really good in goal. The first time I've been confident with the keeper in goal in quite a long time, actually, quite a few years. So I think that's a real good statement of intent. Really, really pleased if that is as official as what it sounds.
Okay, so 150,000 on a 3-year deal, was that? I heard
put pen to paper on a 3-year deal.
On Sunday's show, yesterday's show, we reported that one of the reports we read said that it was on 13 grand a week at Bolton, and while probably wouldn't be that on here, we could offer him some comparative
13 grand a week
salary.
League One. God, dear.
Well, that was his wage at Brighton. So
sorry, but okay. Brighton,
what he's on here, I mean, if you just go by a crude rudimentary math, 50% pay cut. Let's say he's on 6 grand a week here, so 150,000. What are your thoughts on that, then, Mr. Nunn? If that is the truth, and all day today it's been Walton's virgin, so it's not come out of left field.
Yeah, I reckon 6 grand is probably light for what we would likely be needing to pay him in to come down, but 150 grand is, if that's even remotely.
We were talking 2 or 3 million a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that was equally ridiculous. But
yeah.
150 grand for a 26-year-old goalkeeper.
If that's what it was, that is. I think Steve Parry said in the chat that's robbery. I mean that's a masterclass. But of course you make it up because you pay them more. So it's the same cost just over a longer period of time. I think what Cruncher says, I really agree with. That a keeper gets you, what do you say, 9, 12 points a season. A really good keeper. I just wish we'd had him from the beginning. I think we'd be looking at a very different position in the league right now. But I agree with that. What Grant just said, that a good keeper will get you 9-12 points a season, and sometimes that's a small margin you need to cement a place in the playoff spot. So good move if all well.
£5, Sarah Davis. Thank you. Love the show, Gov. Thank you for being the TT family together. No, thank you, Sarah. Thank you ever so much. And thank you to Stephen as well for becoming a new YouTube member. Appreciate that. 150. I mean, when you stack it up next to the Fisherman's £3 million from a couple of weeks ago, 150 quid. Look, 150 quid, 150,000. Can't buy a car, 150 quid. 150,000 looks a really good bet, George. You know, you've got Mark Tuxford, the peaky one. Agree with that. Bolton is the safest pair of hands around in a while. Luck at the season has seen too much change. What should be a consistent position. What are your thoughts on that? You know, 150, madness.
Yep, I think that is spot on. Absolutely right. I just want to know what we're going to do with the remaining 2.8 million we've got left over.
Absolutely, exactly what I want to know. Exactly what I want to know.
Good point.
So now it's all literally just looking at the, refreshing the town site. It probably will be tomorrow if it's going to be coming in.
I've got the website open on refresh, so if it comes up tonight, I'll let you guys know straight away. But as of yet, nothing official.
I like that. Okay, well, another bit of transfer news that was in the press today was Preston North End central defender Jordan Storey. Town, among a number of clubs linked with the Preston defender. What are your thoughts on that one? Obviously, just lost Toto Enciala, sold into Fleetwood. Jordan Storey out of favour at Preston. I believe his wages could be a stumbling block. But let's live in the world that they're not at the moment. Jordan Storey, Preston North End. What are we thinking on that one then, Ben?
In truth, I don't know anything about him, so I can't offer anything as far as who he is. I would say that looking at our defence, which I obviously know a bit more about, central defence looks like one of the areas, taking apart that slip on the weekend, is actually one of the areas I'm really, really happy about. I think Edmondson and, name's gone, he's just come back in from the cold.
Wolfenden.
I've got a soft spot for Denaston as well, but Wolfenden and Edmondson for me look really. The last two games I've seen them, I'm thinking fantastic. For me, it would have to be a left back, kind of Penny's position, which I would have questions over. I think we're going to come to that later on.
£10 from Moby. Thank you very much, Moby.
Yeah, Moby. Crikeys.
Is that the singer?
Actually, Moby. Wow. Oh, come on. Stick up a couple of notes on that, Moby. You're minted. You're fine.
Did Moby sing that song? No,
I don't think he sung many songs.
Cry.
No Woman, No Cry. It's Bob Marley, isn't it?
No. There's a remix version of it. I'm going to look it up right now. Carry on talking.
Okay, you go. Central defenders, Edmondson and Wolf. I'm really happy. I want them two to work together, start them every game, and create a partnership because you work from there outwards. For me, it's that left back position that needs really good cover. I haven't quite got it. I like Penny, and I think he can do really good things with his feet, but for me, for the job of being a left back, the jury's really out on him. Another one of those players where the jury's still out. So I would prefer to be thinking we're signing a potentially good left back from another team rather than a central defender. I think we have the competition there. I don't think we need it, but who knows?
Moby Porcelain. Look up that song. That's what I'm talking about.
Porcelain.
But, George. I get what Ben's saying there, but in the world of 3-5-2, I'm going to talk because he's a ball player, right? Janoy Donasian. I really feel he is limited as a third centre half. He doesn't look naturally confident on the football, and he's not, for my money, the type of player you want in that third centre back role. Because when you play three centre halves,
Donasian or Penny,
Donasian. Penny's a left wing back, so we'll get. I'm sure we're going to get to him at some point through the show. But for me, Jordan Storey, if he comes in, would possibly either be playing left side to move Edmondson to the right, or coming in and playing right side, leaving Edmondson where he is. Because in a squad basis, George, Donasian and Wolfenden are fighting over the same spot. Because in a back three, your two centre halves are either side of the main man. They're your fullbacks, if you like. They play on the halfway line. They've got the ability to go forward, get involved, and are always the outlet ball to recycle possession to go left and right, and got to be confident. Donasian on Saturday particularly was very unconfident in my opinion on the ball. Didn't look confident at all, and lacks the ability. Is he holding that formation back, do you feel? Before you answer that wonderful question I just expertly posed to you, Neil Perks with £2.50. Brilliant show, Gov. United all town fans, keep it up. Thank you ever so much. And £2 from Jake James. Jake, a new name. Anytime I see a new name, I absolutely love it. Welcome, my friend. Danasian, limited. Danasian, limited. Really should be playing in the middle or back up to Wolfenden. Lots of things to discuss. What do you think?
I think he's probably limited by inexperience, particularly while he's been with us. He's not played in that role. We've not really played the formation with that role. I think he's doing fine. He's been doing it for like 4 games. So as with McKenna, I think the jury's out. I wouldn't want to say replace him. But McKenna did say, so I haven't got the quote, I should have written it down, but when he was talking about centre halves at some point, he name dropped Danasian in a way that I kind of thought maybe that's the position that he's looking to cover.
I'll put it here if you like. I think I can read something out here. No. It's one number we've lost from that position. We still have 4 in our current setup. Janoy's been playing as a right centre back. We have George, Luke, and Cameron as well. So we're not short numbers as such.
There's something about Janoy has been playing as a right centre back. Yeah. It says to me he's not one. So yeah, but that's me reading into someone else's words in writing. So I don't know, and I don't know enough about what he does in training.
£2.50. Never skips to beat this show. Thank you, Owen. We love you. We love you, Owen. We do. But although we still want to know, Colin, what you're going to say with that curry. It's hot as what? Let Owen know. He's been literally sweating on it since Saturday. Sorry, George. Proceed.
Yeah. So I get the impression that maybe that is a position that we're looking to cover, and that's down to the gaffer, isn't it? But I don't think Danasian's been doing anything particularly wrong. Nobody had a brilliant game no one had a brilliant game on Saturday, and he and Burns have obviously formed a good friendship, if not quite a sort of ticking partnership on the pitch yet, but I suspect that would probably come given time.
Those partnerships are so important because for me, Wolfie and Edmondson, I think, can create a hell of a partnership. So for me, you've got to start them now 2 central defenders and the 2 strikers. If you could pick 2 positions on the whole permutation of the pitches, they're the 2 positions you want to create really good partnerships. Now we're very lucky we do have that Danasian Burns partnership, and you could even argue Burns and Bond, because Burns had about 6 assists to Bond's goals. But for me, start from, if you get the bottom and the top right, all the rest come together in the middle. It's the beginning and end of a shape, no matter what shape you play. So for me, based on current form, you play Wolf, you play Edmondson. They're the first 2 names on the pitch. You play Norwood, you play Bond. The second 2 names on the pitch. Everyone else, you can argue is interchangeable, and we've got some real quality there. But get that top right, get that bottom right, and everything else is a much easier picture to draw, if you know what I mean.
Yes, that's a good point, and it probably telling that we're not talking about the Penny Wolfenden partnership.
Exactly.
And I think maybe turning that partnership at the back into a trio is what McKenna's looking to do, because for all of George Edmondson's skill, and he's great and he looks frightening at times, he does overstep the boundaries of a centre half every once in a while and gets a rush of blood to the head and disappears up the pitch. And I think we probably need someone that's going to be able to just naturally cover that.
Wolfenden actually did that last.
Well, that is Wolfie's job in the back 3.
For sure. But I think but somebody else has got to drop back in. Wolfenden can't become cover for everybody else in the team as Penny disappears up the wing and Danasian disappears up behind Burns. And I think that's part of the issue potentially, is that Wolfenden's just being exposed slightly by how marauding Edmondson can be sometimes, but I might be wrong.
I think we should just stop and have a round of applause for Luke Wolfenden. I'm not going to get you to do it, but because the guy was told to, take a long walk off a short beer by, not good enough, told that, you can go if you like, but he's come back, he's kept his head down, his nose clean, and now he's probably one of our finest centre halves and back to where he was before. Paul gave us £10. Paul, you're an absolute hero. Keep up the good work, Gov. I hear we've got one of Suffolk's finest school teachers watching us this evening, boys, so keep those words, get the potty mouth to yourself, all right? Otherwise, it'll be extra lines of detention, just to let you know, all right? Particularly you, Stephen Parry. I swear for fun.
PG tonight. Right.
Where's that cat, first of all?
My cat is she's asleep, so she won't be bothering me. The others are out of the room.
Because it sent the chat wild yesterday. Absolutely wild.
She's asleep at the moment, so she's not going to be annoying anyone. No, but well, what did I say yesterday? I said at the end of the day, we're going to go all out for Bolton. We have to go all out for Bolton because there's something about it. Doesn't matter how much we pay. He's going to get us points. And at the start of the season, if your goalkeeper can get you 10 points, you've already got 10 points on the board. And he can do that. And that's why I'm comfortable with Bolton in goal. Because there are games where he's going to come out with make a worldy save or save a penalty, or he'll just catch a corner where normally, they wouldn't have come for it and they would have got a head on it, like when we're playing Wycombe, And he's going to save us that goal, and he's going to get us points, and that's why he's worth the money. I think he's probably going to be on more than 6K, because I think it said in your article that, which is the figure I heard was 150,000. But said in the article like he's near the top end of the wage earners now. Norwood's on over 6K, so he's going to be on more than Norwood. You know what I mean? So you're probably talking close to 8 to 10, which I wouldn't. Like I said, I wouldn't. You asked me last night how much would I pay 10? I'd say yes, because 10,000 for a goalkeeper, getting you, guaranteeing you points. Like I said last night, I said, if I have 10K for a goalkeeper and 10K for a striker, will get me 25 goals, and the goalkeeper will get me some clean sheets, I'd pay it every single day of the week, because you can save money elsewhere, because you're going to get points from 100%. Those two people. You can always get the League Two midfielder.
Sorry, Stephen. If it's not the beep interrupting you, it's Mr. Ipswich Town, €5. Not overly concerned about that defeat to Bolton. Games like that can happen. I noticed one thing when I was at football on Saturday. I noticed one thing. Like I said, they'd played 4-2-3-1 all season. We were the only game they changed for. Yeah, so they were worried about us. They were. To turn around and say that they weren't. He wouldn't. If he wasn't concerned about it, he wouldn't have changed. He was worried. He was worried because he's like Paul Cook. He never changes his formation for no sod. And then suddenly we rock up and he changes. And I don't think we were bad. I really don't. There's been quotes saying that it was unacceptable. We weren't bad. It was like Sunderland. We were the better still got beat though, didn't we? Both games you got beat.
I agree, but we were the better side in both games and we lost. Sometimes that happens. That's football. Sometimes Newcastle shouldn't have lost to Cambridge. They did. Sometimes it just happens. You don't understand it. You can't explain it, but you just have to accept it. Sometimes when you play a game of football, no matter what you do, you can be the best side. You can have more shots, as we did, more shots on target, as we did. We wasted a lot of corners. They need to improve. We had more corners. We had more possession. We had everything stat-wise. And we just made a couple of mistakes. And they penalised us for our mistakes. It can be legislated. Can you legislate for that? Probably not.
Let's shift it now to Robert Grimsey asking here, any thoughts on the Preston defender? You've heard my thoughts regarding Donatian. You've heard George and Ben's expert opinions as always. What are your thoughts on both of those items, the Donatian and, of course, Mr.
I heard about this lad the other day because I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Preston supporter, and it was only Sheffield Wednesday in for him then.
Sorry, Steve. Sorry, Mark. Just... Fuck off, William Aaron Drinnan. Absolute nonsense. You've got to be looking at possibly dropping Bond and bringing back Aaron Drinnan. That is the type of shithousing I cannot get behind in my chapter.
Marky.
I'm warning
Get
you.
off.
You're one
getting that fire
away from 10-minute timeout, young man.
You just about owe some money to charity, don't you, Gov?
You've seen the difference now between League One and League Two, haven't you?
Hold up, Stephen.
You can score in League Two.
Hold up. How much do I owe you? And do you want it in check?
I can't remember what the bet was, but I think it was.
The bet was he wouldn't score more than 10 league goals. You said he would, and I said he wouldn't score 10 while he had hold in his ass. How many did he score, George?
I have no idea. I'm being paying attention.
Oh, I'm
that confident.
How many goals? No, yeah, it was in League Two. I said he could play in the Vanarama, and he still wouldn't get 10.
I think it was before he left Ipswich. I said wherever he goes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No, I spoke to a friend of mine tonight who's a Preston fan, and he's a solid. He's solid.
Oh,
he's not. He's a steward. He's a steward.
Nothing friend.
Hang on, he's got 10 and 18. Gov says Mike D. Johnny Esther. So is it one goal now and then you win, or are we going to declare you the winner already?
Well, if it was 10, it sounds like I've already.
In other words, he's won already.
Yes, he has. Right. Nominate your charity. We'll get it sorted. Bloke causing me issues everywhere he goes.
I love that. You win that bet and you pull up this massive beer keg in celebration. I thought fantastic.
He's not even playing for me anymore and he's still causing me trouble.
Tell him you compare when he puts my name on bloody thing. I've been paying me £10 for months.
I put all the names. I put all the names on it that I'm given, Stephen.
I've got bank statements going back to last year.
I've got to pay it, otherwise he'll be sending around the old can't pay, take it away geezers. They'll be banging at my door tomorrow saying, "Where's the Johnny Esther money, Gov? I better be paying it." So yeah, sorry, Stephen, carry on.
No, so I was talking to him and he said he's solid. You know, the reason he's not playing is because Bauer's come back into a bit of form and he's had a bit of a fallout. He had a bit of a fallout with Ryan Law. So this isn't probably just a loan. It's probably because his contract's up at the end of this year. It's probably a loan with a view to moving on wherever he goes. So it's probably like, well, we'll loan him for 6 months. If he's any good, we'll take him on because his contract's up in 2022. So it's like he's had a bit of a fallout with Ryan Law because he started the season. I think he played 18 games, first 18 games. And then Ryan Law come in and never played again, you know. So I don't know what the difference, because Ryan Law's not like a ball player. Even Plymouth was never really a ball. He didn't like ball playing defenders. The defenders they're playing now are not really ball playing defenders. They're like, you know, big brick shithouses who just like kick the ball long. So he's not really suiting, but he's a good ball player. He's a technique. He's a young lad. He's only 24. So he's got plenty of time, and he's solid. But when they took him there, he was took there as a prospect from, I think it was Exeter. I think it was when they took him there, and he was viewed as a prospect, but he never kicked up. So that's all I can say. But he likes him. Put it that way.
Mark, well, yeah, but he also likes James Wilson. And as Owen just said in the VIP area, we'll bring Owen on in a second. Ryan Lowe's going to take James Wilson over there? Question mark.
No, my mate likes this story. He doesn't like the defence he's playing at this moment in time. In fact, he's not very enamoured with Ryan Law at all. He says the football's gone downhill. The results have got better, but the football's gone downhill.
Mark Tutsford, who scored more goals this season? Gov, Piggott or Drennan? Did you want more chance of winning Ballon d'Or? I rest my case, gentlemen.
Who scored more goals, Bon or Drennan?
Well, Bon. Is it Bon?
You've got to compare games. You've got to compare games.
By one goal, yeah.
Don't depress me even further by telling me my main striker is...
That's true. Bon's got 12.
The good doctor. Good call, Jason. He should do, but we throw him at the end of them. Mike D says Hawkins, another ball playing centre-back I heard we're linked with. Can you believe it? Hawkins playing centre-half. Stephen. Danasian limited. Before I bring Owen on, would Story be replacing Danasian? Would Danasian be replacing Wolfenden? Who drops out?
I was looking at the interview, and it seemed to me like McKenna was looking at Danasian as a backup right wing back or right back. I don't think he sees him as a centre back. I really don't. Except the sort of person who could cover in case of emergency. Like break glass in case of emergency defender. That's, I think, where Danasian covers. And I think that's where he fits. I think someone like Story going in there with a back three of Story, Wolfenden and Edmondson, that would be comfortable, I think, for McKenna. But I do really think we've got to sort something, because I don't think Colston's going to sort himself out. I think he's going to end up going back. And
agree with that.
He's only played 3 games, and we're paying a fortune for him. So we might as well go back and get another left back in, because
think about defenders on loan from Borough that just don't work out. Matt Bates was another one, if I remember rightly.
I think we're just going to have to cut our losses with him and get somebody else in before window shuts, because otherwise we could end up with a dud and having to pay a penny all season. And it's very noticeable, and I noticed that on Saturday. When Wes Burns isn't doing much on one side, we're getting nothing from the other side. And you've got to at least have something from the other side if one side's not working. It's great to have both working, but if one's not, the other's got to be doing something. And if one's not doing something, if your main threat which is usually Wes Burns, isn't doing anything and the other guy's not doing anything, you're not going to do anything. So that's why at the moment we're only performing when Wes Burns performs. So that left-hand side needs to be sorted out.
Spot on. Stephen, as always, Stephen, spot on. I'll speak to you soon. Look after yourself. Here's a question for you before I bring Owen on. Would Donashian get his contract extension now under McKenna if it hadn't have been sorted before he arrived? What do you think?
Should he or will he?
Would he have done? Because obviously he was out of contract this summer.
Yeah.
Cook and Co extended the deal. He was in a good vein of form then. But would he have had it extended under McKenna? You know, as in like today. Do you think McKenna sees him? Does he fit what McKenna wants to do with the way he plays his back three? I suppose is the question I'm asking you. It's more of a better question, George.
It's a tough question after 4 games in that position, but I think
I'll be for thinking, down never dancing.
I think I certainly wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't say no, because I think Stephen might be right. I think he might see him as more of a forward thinking right back, and at the moment we probably haven't got a lot of cover for Burns in that position.
KVY
that's defensively capable. I mean, I love KVY to bits, but there's a reason why he's not playing. I think if he was fit, I'd have put him on the left by now. So yeah,
well, did you on Friday's show? Did you see the overheard 11?
No,
because obviously in the training clip there was I've lost it, but in the training clip there was the overheard 11 that I brought out. Is it this one here? No, that's Tux's team, and he had Raheem Harper at right back with George and Cameron as the 2 centre halves and KVY on the left. Could that be something he's wanting to look at there? KVY on the left, do you feel bad? Because you've mentioned Penny a number of times and you've not been happy.
No, I've his KVY is just he lost that yard of pace after injury, and I think from what I can just see after 3 games, is our manager's one that wants our backline to bomb forward with one for cover. Edmondson, he's bombing up the pitch more than I've ever seen the central defender bombing up the pitch. Donashian does exactly the same thing. For that reason, I think he will get a new contract. Penny does the same thing. There's an argument as to how well he does it, but he still goes up the pitch. And I think he's leaving Wolfenden there as that kind of stay there defender. So from what I'm just vaguely seeing, he wants his defenders covering yards up to the halfway line. So I think KVY would fit that mould. I just don't think he's quick enough anymore. He came back and he lost a yard or 2 of pace. Mm-hmm. Penny does give McKenna what I think McKenna's looking for. It's just how well he does it. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of static back 3 or 4 lines through any of the games the rest of the season. And for that reason, to answer your question, I think Donashian will have a contract extension because McKenna will see.
He's already had it. He's already had it. He has. Yeah,
he had it
under Cook.
He had it under. Oh, sorry. So he is. So yeah, he is a manager who wants his players forward, high pressing, and I think these are all players we're talking about that actually do that. So yeah,
I think from what Ben was saying earlier that we feel similarly about Penny, which is, and I think I said a couple of weeks ago or the last time I was on. There's something I really like about Penny as a footballer. I'm just not sure where he plays, and I mean, every once in a while he puts in a sublime cross.
Yeah.
He's a poor man's Castrocito. Let's be honest.
He can manage to tackle occasionally, but I think he could be really good because he's super young. He was bought in as
Matt Richards.
He was brought in as cover for Coulson, and he's been thrown in and is now playing right wing back week in, week out. I think in future seasons, I honestly think Matt Penny could be a quality player.
Yeah, just not yet.
But right now I think we should be, and I would be surprised if we're not looking for someone to shore up the left wing back position.
I was just trying to throw left backs out there just to see if George would crack halfway through his point, to see if he had that steely determination to deliver it. I was throwing Matt Richards out, Castrocito out, just a poor man.
Is it Castrocito or Cito Castro?
I'd have Cito back every day of the week.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, well,
never a red card against Norwich. Yeah. Let's just say that right here in 2022, still to this day, was never a red card against Norwich. Full stop. Man was robbed. Andre Dazelle back on loan. Lee Anderson would love it. Mike Fisherman would not.
I think Mike would like that very much.
We're going to bring in Owen, who has probably been on bated breath since Saturday on Colin's Curry Watch. Owen, welcome in. How you doing?
Owen.
Right, how you all doing? You all right?
Very well, thank you.
Love that haircut. Look at that.
Yeah.
Haircut. I haven't got enough balls to get that haircut that high, but you got a cool beard. Look at that.
Awesome. Go for it. Go for it. You'd look lovely.
Oh, thank you, my love.
How long have you had that haircut?
2 or 3 weeks. Just.
Oh, so it's a relatively new thing then. It's not something you've had for a while.
Yeah, I just get bored. I shave my own hair in the shower, so I like to mix it up. Give our lads a surprise. I'm very caring like that.
George, would you ever consider it?
No, I'm 42, so I keep as much hair as I can.
Oh, you?
I know he said that before to me. I know. Whatever moisturiser he's using it.
Hang on, George. How old do you think I am?
Don't answer that.
Ben, I've heard how old you are on the pod. Now I can't remember. But I remember being shocked at how young you were, and I don't mean that in a.
Owen, how old do you think
I am? I'll say 32.
32. Well, a bit older, 38, nearly.
Oh, there you go. Play it.
This took a real weird left turn, but I kind of like it.
Welcome to Talking Hair. I am your host, Gov. So, Owen, Dacian, Story, Penny. Let's start with Penny. What do you think on Matt Penny? What is a Matt Penny? Where does he play?
Somewhere on the left. I like the fact that he's a grafter. He works hard. Yeah, he's not the best, but we're in League One, and we had Stephen Ward there last season, and he's better than Stephen Ward, and that's not hard. Walsall's finest. I think, is it Walsall he's at now? But I like him, but he's not. He's no Cresswell, he's no Mings, he's no Dan Harding, but he's
yes.
There you go. He's okay. He's all right.
Who didn't love a bit of Dan Harding, Ben? Absolute hell of a player.
No, he was a guy with some good hair.
Cracking hair.
Cracking. Blonde locks. Yeah, absolutely. Penny's a left midfielder, says Jay. Ben says Penny's a 4. The Fisherman says Danashian's player of the season. Do you agree with that, Owen? The Danashian player of the season?
I think you could argue most improved.
Fair point. Yeah, fair point like that. Yep.
But
if Wolfie keeps going the way he's going,
he works hard. I think he's a bit like the last few years. Every summer we've thought, well, Toto's going to go now, and he always kind of just stays around. Whereas Danashian, I'd kind of forgotten about and just assumed, he'll be off himself. I think he did well under Cook. I think he surprised me at right back. He certainly offers a lot more than KVY nowadays. It's kind of sad seeing Vincent Young these days because, we had those, what was it, about 9 matches in the, when he came in the Championship still, wasn't it? Or was it first year League One? I can't remember now. First year League One. But he looked like, we've got a player here. And I don't see anything about Vincent Young now that makes me think, we've got to get him in the team. I just think he's a busted flush. And it kind of hurts me to say that, but it's just the way it is. So yeah, I think Danashian's a better option than him. And in terms of him being in a back 3, again, we want to be higher, but we're a mid-table League One team. And whilst that's the case, he does a job. But he's not good enough to be a promotion defender, in my opinion, because you'd be carrying him. And we can't afford to do that when we've only got Edmondson, whilst he had the mistake on the weekend, is Championship class. Wolfenden suits his system and he's looking like he's getting more like the Wolfenden that first came through when we were like, we're going to do well to keep hold of him. So I think it is just the other option. Speaking of Story and Preston friends and all that stuff, one of my neighbours, I've got a Huddersfield fan to the left of me and I've got a Preston fan opposite. I haven't asked him about story yet, but he told me that Harrop and was it Josh Earl? Was he the one?
He's been here previously. Yeah, Josh Earl.
He told me they were going to be outstanding signings for us, so I don't trust a word that comes out of his mouth now.
I actually really like Josh Earl. I thought he was pretty good.
Slim pickings.
I think he was more of a centre half than a left back. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was a big one. Funny, about 6'3" or something like that.
Yeah, really.
You know,
really
young. Maybe Josh Earl is what we need. Where's he? Is he still at Preston? I don't really know.
Let's move a bit further forward. Sonny Aluko. Getting a lot of plaudits for the way he's playing in that number 10 role. But are we actually getting enough from him in that position? Because, you know, what is it, 15 games now without a goal? Is that the sort of productivity you want from your number 10, Owen? Is that?
I don't think you can doubt him. He's when he came in, I'm pretty sure you guys and Cruncher and everyone have said it. You kind of looked at him and thought, this is a Marcus Evans marquee signing. Yeah. And to me, a bit like Donacien, but better, has been the surprise of the season again. You can see that he was a Premier League player. You can see that Reading spent $7.5 million only 4 or 5 years ago on him. He's got something about him, and if he had a bit more movement around him, I think you'd see more in the end product. I think he sort of carries the midfield at times when Evans and Morsey for me are too similar, and it's nice seeing Morsey bomb on, but I think he needs someone nearer up to him. He needs someone linking the play more with him, whereas he kind of gets left by himself. And you can see touches of class. That pass in the Gillingham game was just ridiculous. So he's got it. And maybe he should have scored more by now, but it's only in the last month or so that he's really been allowed to flourish in that number 10 slot since the change of formation by McGreal, to be fair. Before that, he was sort of out wide, and you could tell he'd not played for a while. His fitness wasn't there. Now it is. He's different class, and we'll see it. If the team gets more confident, and I like what I'm seeing under McKenna. Like I probably watched about half an hour or so of the Bolton game, but what I saw, the football were good. We arguably we were the better team. It could have been a 0-0 easily, but you know, if it weren't for a couple of brain farts, we could have well snatched it at the end. So I think things are looking better. And 2 points or 6 points from 9. You know, next 3 games, these next 2 are more than winnable. So why not? Why can't we do it?
You're nodding in agreement there with Owen quite a bit, but Sonny Aluko, you know, 3 in 17, no assists this year. 2 of those 3 came in one game. Is that the right productivity from what is arguably the number 10 role, the biggest role in your 3-5-2 formation?
No assist is harsh. We didn't score that third goal against Gillingham without Sonny Aluko on the bench.
I'm just telling you what the stats say, my friend.
No, I know what the stats say. I mean, he hasn't played in. I think Owen said that he hasn't played in number 10 for those 17 games. So it's not fair to judge his output as a number 10 based on that number.
But there are fans, such as Craig at Portsmouth. Nothing against Aluko, but Selena both scores and creates. Various other people in the chat have also said Selena should play the number 10 role. That's why the conversation, I guess, is here. You know, I think we're spoiled for number 10s, aren't we? We've been saying this all season. Like, we're not even talking about Scott Fraser anymore. Can't make a squad.
Well, exactly. So it's not like we're short of number 10s.
I don't think
Aluko's doing anything wrong. I think he's I think, but at the same time, I'd like to see Selena have a go in there. Why not? But that's a real. We're sport for choice. So I don't know why we would have changed up to Bolton. I don't think Aluko did anything particularly wrong against Bolton. But if we want to freshen things up, maybe he changes the number 10. I think if we don't get anyone new in, I don't think he changes that back 5 based on the players that we have in the squad at the moment.
Let me up the ante a little bit there, Ben. You got the stats I've just told you. Sonny Aluko, 32 years of age. Connor Chaplin, I think he's 24. for the long-term future of the football club in the player trading world, Connor Chaplin can only increase his value, can he not? Where Sonny Aluko is what Sonny Aluko is at this point.
True, but we want to get promoted as soon as we can. So you play the player that's
but we're
developed.
not. But you're telling me 48 minutes ago, probably not going to happen. So in that world, are you simply
this season, next season it will, and I think you need someone where Aluko is in his career. I've got a soft spot for the man. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I really, really like him. I love watching him play. I love his work off the ball. I love what he makes players around him do with his high pressing, with his speed. He makes players around him better, and that's always my line, isn't it? Give me players that make other players around them better. Chaplin is very close behind. They're almost interchangeable for me. I just think we're bloody lucky to have them both, and Selena. Whereas I think, yes, by skill, probably the best player at the club. Funnily enough, actually falls behind them both. I'm not sure if he's just going into the category of luxury player. It almost seems like hearsay to say, but
definitely.
But Aluko, for me, he makes other players better, and his attitude is spot on. And to get out this league, you need attitude, and you need to make those around you confident and good. We've just spent time talking about defence, how you have the right. Whoever's playing next to Penny or Wolf playing next to Edmondson, if Wolf is good, he lets Edmondson run. So I'm really focused on Wolf being good. He lets Edmondson do his thing, and Aluko, I think, allows the midfield to come to the striker. I think he allows Bond to be good. I think he's a great outlet. I think he's all the dirty, horrible things you need in League One. I think he has. And from that first game where he was absolute pants because he hadn't played football in months, what an upwards curve. I mean, come on, what an upwards curve. How much higher can it get? So
one of the things that I think really suits Aluko in the number 10 is that he finds space where there's no space. He turns
through
players inside out, and the number of times it happened in the Morecambe game, particularly where he was fed the ball with his back to a player and the player was right up against him, and he just turned him inside out like he wasn't there. I think that's what he does. And
I agree with you. And he's consistently good. I'm not to say he's brilliant, but would you rather have Selena, who I think, and I'm echoing a point someone said about him drifting in and out of games.
Neil Perks, drifting in and out of games too much.
Which he does. And when he drifts in, he's absolutely astounding. But he drifts out. So would you rather have someone who's consistently good with high energy like Aluko, or someone who's inconsistently fantastic like Selena? Which one of those two things do you have to get out of this godforsaken league?
Good question. Hold that thought. Owen, I'm going to bring the fisherman in. Before I let you go, is this season over? Yes or no, my friend?
No, I don't. I'm going to say no. If we lose all of a sudden on the weekend, I'll just give up. But we can win these next two matches. There's no reason why we can't. Thing is, we can beat anyone on our day. And just one last thing regarding what we're saying with Chelina and Aluko.
Please do.
Chelina is wasted in a horrible League One. He's a luxury player, like mentioned, and you cannot trust him to put the effort in. Whereas Aluko will work his ass off from the first minute till the 90th, despite the fact he's in his 30s. And yeah, I'd have Chaplin up there with him as well. So Chelina,
is it one of those? Are you echoing the points that a lot of people made last year about the Dazelle? He's actually too good for this league. If he goes and plays in a higher league, he would be better. It sounds like a similar point almost.
You could put Chelina in certain Premier League teams, and he'd do a job.
Wow, that's a big claim. Big claim, Owen.
And you put him at number 10 for Southampton, and he'll look like he's better than Ellie Nessie. Why not? But League One against fucking Gillingham and the rest of them, nah. This isn't.
You don't drive a Lamborghini down a mud lane.
All right, Owen. Been a real pleasure. Thank you for coming on, my friend. Look after yourself. Before we go into the fisherman about Selena or Aluko, I'm going to put the case forward for Connor Chaplin. 5 in 19 with 2 assists. That's pretty good as well. Fisherman, welcome in. How you doing?
Very well. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. What are you saying about the number 10 role? Are we getting enough out of Sonny Aluko, or would you look at Selena or Chaplin and think time for a change?
Fraser. Who knows?
I've been thinking a lot today about Selena.
He's a handsome guy, isn't he?
Absolutely. Got my blood pressure bumping. No, look. I mean, I know we gave you some stick for putting him left wing back, but there could be an argument with the way he plays and the way he is selfish with the ball. You could put him in, in a Macaulay Bond role or a James Norwood role. A direct sort of replacement for one of those, more attacking. Up front, he's not afraid to score. He's not afraid to take on players. He knows where the back of the net is. He's a selfish player, and strikers, a lot of good strikers are selfish. There could be an argument to play him there. Aluko for me has been. I like Aluko. I love the way that he twists and turns. He comes off that pitch. We've said it. We've been saying it for a long while. When players go out on that pitch and they come off absolutely knackered, as fans, we think, well done, lad. You may not have had the best game, but you've put yourself about and you've really worked hard. Worked hard for the team. For me, on Saturday, we huffed and puffed with no end result. And it was hard to watch at times. I didn't feel Evans and Morsey did enough in the midfield. I'm not going to hammer them too much because they've done well. They've done well sort of for a couple of games. Obviously, we won the game, so they've obviously done well. But they need to be a bit more consistent. And the 2 goals that we conceded was awful to watch. I mean, look, Bolton's pulled off some good saves, and I'm pleased he's come. Clearly not £3 million that was sort of sent my way, but at the end of the day, I'm led to believe anything between 750 and £1 million for him. We paid. I know there's other rumours around. There's a few rumours that are cheap and that, but if we're paying 13k, there's no way Brighton's going to let him go for $250,000 or $500,000. Do you know what I mean? That's but we don't know. We will never know. We'll probably find out a few years, but from now. Look, he's a second good keeper. We've got 2 good keepers on the thing. But that goal. He wasn't set for it. Should have been set. Should never palm it out into the 6-yard box like that. That should have gone wide. He should have palmed that wide and done his best. So for me, defender's a bit static. Not picking up the runners. A really soft shot and. It weren't a great save, but he did pull off a good save in the first half, which was sort of, but don't justify that. And then I just don't know. Fridge did a Chambers-esque, didn't he? Should have just rose-ed that instead of trying to play the nicey-nicey path. But,
he should have done, but he didn't.
But Aluko and Selena, I'd play Selena further forward.
What about Chaplin? 5, what was it? 5 in 19, 2 assists.
I don't know. There's something missing with Chaplin. And I don't know what it is. Genuinely, I don't know what it is. I like him. He's hustle. He's bustle. He's another one of these players that puts himself about.
I feel the same for Morsey.
What his best position is.
I feel the same for Morsey. There's a lot of love for Morsey, but for me, the biggest letdown of the season.
Yeah, controversial, I'm kind of with you.
Controversial, but from what was said, he would bring to what he brings. That's not to say he's not good, a bit like what you're saying about Chaplin. But I think compared to what we thought he might be, I would even argue we've actually got the wrong captain. I think it needs to be Edmondson all day long. That you watch the players around him, they all look to him. They never look at Morsey, and that's quite telling, I think.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of a disagreement with that, which is fair enough because it's just
but it's an opinion, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's an opinion, and we all have them. But and that's the beauty of this show. We can have our opinions, and and some people will disagree, some people agree, and I agree with you on this. I've been disappointed with Morsey. I kind of felt he should be, captains should be putting in 110% performances every game. I don't think he has. To be honest,
should have the work rate of Aluko, and then I think we'd all love him.
Yeah. If Morsey did Luko's work, you would well done.
They're different players, they're different roles. That's really hard.
But the attitude, the energy behind it, not the roles.
But that's really harsh because Morsey recently, Wycombe and particularly Gillingham, he's been a different player. I mean, Wycombe, he's taken on 3-4 players, laid it to Chaplin, who's hit both posts. That's a really harsh harsh, I feel, George, I bring you in on this one. Harsh
thanks
statement on Morsey.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I haven't been blown away by Morsey, but I don't think I feel quite as strongly about him having the captaincy taken from him, or that he shouldn't be in. I've talked an awful lot about Lee Evans, and I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's another
and I don't think it helps when you're a central midfield too, and the other guy isn't bringing it. And I know they've played before, but I wouldn't have guessed that they'd played before if somebody had told me, if I didn't know that for a fact. And honestly, I think we have better players in the squad already than Lee Evans. But
would you play Scott Fraser with Morsey instead of Lee Evans?
Yeah, because he played there once and had an absolute blinder.
I for me, look, I mean, I haven't been blown away with Morsey, but he's had good games, but he's had some shockers as well. So for me, look, he's had an average season, but Evans, I've not been blown away with Evans at all. Some of his, look, he can put some brilliant passes in, but then it's like we're left wide open in the midfield sometimes. And I think someone like Scott Fraser, could probably help Morsey close them gaps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right about Evans. He can play an outstanding, sublime pass, but he does it once, and then you might as well take him off, even if he does it in the first minute. Once he's done it, he's done. It feels like, and that's frustrating. Like it's like,
but that could be why we're looking at
to play his pass. I wait for him to play his pass, and then that's okay. Well, thanks for coming, Lee. Then we're done.
That is great. Fair. That's great.
It's a very fair point.
But I think Morsey would be better suited in that role where he just wanders is unfair, but just floats around midfield, picking up the loose pass, cleaning up, doing his captaincy work, and having somebody in front of him who can push forward, and that is Scott Fraser.
And his first game for us, so I think was his best. And I said, Cook said he will come in and he will sit in that role and he will protect the defence. And he did exactly. I remember on the pod saying, wow, a player that said something was going to happen, and it did, and he protected that back line. But since then, I just feel, and I'm not saying he's bad, he's a good player, and he's certainly nowhere near the bottom, say, 6 or 7 signings. I would think he's square in the middle. But maybe for me, I just need my captain to be a bit more than that. I just think there are too many periods where I don't notice. But there was a comment made up, I can't remember who made it, a very fair one, actually, to say that he has to carry...
it was Mark Tuxford, a bit harsh on Morsey. The one who's been issued is Evans. Morsey basically has to carry him most games while he pins the ball.
And that is a very fair point to kind of
right.
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
But that could be why we're looking at Mark Kinsella's boy from Walsall. There's obviously those few rumours circulating yesterday on social media. Mm-hmm. Nothing of substance or from substantial sources have come out yet. But but we could be in the market for another busy type midfielder. For me and my money, Morsey's played much better since he's switched positions, but Evans still doesn't do enough, and that would be a position I'm looking to improve. Ben Moore, I don't think it's Morsey, it's more Evans needs someone a bit more creative spark and an engine. Hope Fraser, but Harper Fraser, both options. Mark Tuxford again, Evans is pony, literally pings a ball and that's it. I could stand on the halfway line and do that. The good doctor, if I was a defender, remembering now, I'd absolutely hate to deal with Chaplin, Bond, nor would Selena. Burns would embarrass me too. Probably Walton too. Never got to a good level. Tim Malden says Evans blows hot and cold too often. When he's on it, he can spread and switch play brilliantly. He has one good game in 4. Morsey has one bad game in 4. And Lewis, Morsey and his links alongside him, still yet to see Player of the Year Harper alongside him. We only ever saw Harper with Evans, which didn't work. Good points there. Sadly not. And we'll never get to see his Player of the Year ability. It's a shocking shame, Mike.
I'm not sure Look, Morsey's got this season to prove to be a captain for me. He's got this season.
He is a fucking captain.
No. Listen, there's no good
time he's a captain.
He is the captain. Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
he's a leader. He's a leader with the way he plays, with his work rate, his effort, and the way he talk to each other. You saw that after
There's
Gillingham.
not enough about Morsey yet. I'm not saying he can't be.
Where's my pick?
You look at some of our previous captains. He's not even on par with them yet. He's a good player.
Who are we talking about here? Who?
Sorry?
Who are we talking about here? Previous captains.
Well,
we're talking
bloody
about.
Chambers, that's for a start. But
Okay, so that rules him out. He was captain for a long period of time. Before who was captain?
Jason
Holland.
DeVos.
Yeah,
Holland.
They're not the caliber of that. For me, Morsey's got a little bit more to do to really establish that captain's armband. Say, look, that's mine. You know, I'm the leader on this pitch. You boys are going to work hard. I'm going to lead by example.
Where's my phone?
Do you know what I mean? I mean, look, I think I agree with Chucks. I think Evans is the problem. I agree that he has four bad games in one. Morsey has one, but he does have one bad game in four. But all the talk about players that we want, where I think they should play right now, we're still making schoolboy errors. And if we don't cut them schoolboy errors out, and they are proper bad schoolboy errors, we don't cut them out, we are not even going to be considering looking at the playoffs. You know, we've lost against Bolton, the bogey side. Many fans were losing their head over it, saying, oh, well, that's it, season over. I mean, that is just, this is a mad league. We're only 8 points off the playoffs. And if we'd have been in a championship and we said, look, we're only 8 points off the playoffs, every person, every fan would be like, yeah, we can do this. We can do this. We can still do this in this league. It's a mad old league. We've still got plenty of games. Yes, we got to win. Plenty. Right. I get that. Losing to teams like Bolton doesn't help the cause.
Well, that remains to be seen. But Paul Chapman makes a great point here as we round up the show. Sorry, go L. We're not going to have time to get you on. Stay there. I'll try if I can. But Paul says you can't compare Morsey to Premier League captains like Holland. We are bloody League One. And there was a clip at the end of the Gillingham game, which to me highlights the reason why he's the captain and why he's a good captain. Even after a domination and a hammering, McKenna and Morsey side by side talking tactics. And you can't underestimate, particularly for a first-time manager, how important an experienced head is that has the dressing rooms here. And because they're all so new, there shouldn't be any clicks. But not
really. A League One player.
Yeah, but you can't sit here in 2022 when the club's done nothing for 22 years and say the guy who led us through Wembley and to Europe and our greatest moment, unless you're anybody aged 18 and under, yeah, he's a better captain than Morsey.
I'm 38. That was still my greatest moment.
Exactly. It's like comparing, Colin, is it like comparing Bobby Robson to Paul Hurst?
He loves Evans, just Colin.
I mean, they both managed Ipswich Town, but you would never put the two in the same sentence, would you?
Absolutely not, no.
Cheers, no. Colin.
That's the shortest. I just bedded in for a cup of tea there. Oh, God.
That is brutal.
Bring him back.
I deserve that, though.
I love you, Colin. I love you.
Me, Colin.
I love you. We are going to round the show up, but Colin, very quickly, and I do mean quickly, after the last 24, 48 hours I've had, I need to get to sleep. What do you want to say about your football team? Obviously, you didn't make Sunday's show. What do you want to say, my friend?
Well, in answer to your question about how hot was my curry, it was as hot as Joe Root's jockstrap.
Well, I'll take your word for that. Don't talk cricket. I've got to do that tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. It's bad enough as it is. Or is it 8 o'clock? I better know because I'm turning the button on that says broadcasts. I better find out. But yeah, don't mention cricket. Don't mention cricket. Tim says, while Evans and Morsey, Penny, etc. are all inconsistent, we'll continue to be inconsistent. For me, we don't have enough consistency in enough positions. And Mark says, Colin, please don't file a lawsuit for that. How are you, Colin? Come on, talk to me about your football team. What's on your mind?
No, I'm fine, mate. I agree with Mike, and I agree with the previous caller, Owen. We mustn't give up as yet. We must hang on.
This is why I don't sit in the front room very often. I've literally just got a WhatsApp, right? It's come in, hot off the press. Me and the dog were chilling out. This is what it says, ladies and gentlemen. You need to finish soon. I need to get my coat to put the bin out.
Oh, God. I was going to say, right, end the podcast now. That's a promise.
So,
okay.
No. She needs to get her coat to put the bin out. So we've got to end the show. That's why we
sitting on her coat.
Here. No, I'm sitting by the door. She'll be on the camera.
She's 18 square inches of your room.
Get on the camera. Say
coat.
There you go, you see. So even the dog's a bit disturbed by that. Look, he's thinking, what is she talking about? See, he's not happy. But that's why we got in the show soon, guys. That's why I can't sit here for much longer. But it's been a good show. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Colin, you've made an appearance. You can get your royalty fee in the check. In the post, sorry.
Colin, I've got to ask, the last time I saw you at the end of the Town game, and we mentioned Evans, it was like you're ready to do a 12 rounds of boxing. He got you fired up. What do you? Was it Evans? You were saying I hate that. If he ever plays that team again, this guy's terrible. Was it him you were talking about?
£4.49 from Mr. Tim Malden, Talking Town, the beating heart of fan chat, a foundation for all twin fans. Keep it up, guys.
Who was it that got your passion that day?
Matt Penny.
No, it wasn't Penny. I think.
Who? Well, Haladji, was it? Because I know Colin's a massive fan of Haladji, like I am.
Beat his door down, didn't he? Do you remember that?
Mr. Penny.
Season? Literally beat Haladji's car door down to get to him. You say you are an omen, Colin. You told Haladji to keep the faith. He got dropped, never seen again until the new year. You told Ashton to keep the faith. Cook gets the sack. It's a P45 in the post the next morning. If Colin Plum tells you to keep the faith, run as fast as you can.
You give up on the season, Colin.
Yes, dear, I don't know.
Great point. George says, "Can you please say the season's over?" Because you're obviously quite good at predictions. So if you say season's over, it might work in reverse. We might actually win the league. Miracle of Portman Road, they'll call it.
The miracle.
I would never say that about our club. Never.
Oh, love you.
Never.
Safety guy. End of an
era. And I really don't care what anybody thinks about that. No, season is not over.
All right.
3-0 on Saturday, 2-0 at Wimbledon on Tuesday night, and everybody will be firing again.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've.
She's got to do the bin. What can I say?
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now.